Have you ever had something you secretly loved, but never told anyone about it? Maybe it's a quiet little hobby, like collecting old postcards, sketching in your notebook, or just sitting by the window and watching the rain fall. You love it deeply, but for some reason, you keep it to yourself. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Introverts, people who often feel more energized by solitude than by social interaction, have an entire world of passions, routines, and little joys they keep just for themselves. Not because they're hiding anything, but because those things feel sacred, personal, sometimes too precious to explain out loud. According to psychologist Dr. Mark Johnson, sharing something close to your heart can feel incredibly vulnerable, especially in a loud or unfamiliar crowd. And for introverts, that vulnerability often comes with a deep desire for safety, stillness, and space. So in this video, we're going to explore the secret joys introverts quietly cherish and why it's so important to respect and understand them. And whether you're an introvert yourself or you love someone who is, I think you'll find a little piece of yourself in this story. Let's begin. So why is it that introverts often keep their passions to themselves? It's not because they don't care deeply or because they don't have things they absolutely love. Quite the opposite. Most introverts have incredibly rich inner worlds, full of ideas, feelings, daydreams, and creative interests. But sharing those things? That's a whole different story. See, for introverts, expressing what they love can feel incredibly vulnerable. Imagine having a favorite song that speaks to your soul, like truly touches you in a way words can't even describe. Now imagine playing that song for a room full of strangers and watching them shrug, laugh, or not pay attention. That's how sharing personal interests can feel for introverts. Like opening a door to something sacred, only to risk it being misunderstood or dismissed. Dr. Mark Johnson explains that introverts are often more sensitive to emotional energy. So when they reveal something close to their heart, they're not just sharing facts, they're exposing feelings. And that's not something they do lightly. It's also about energy. Social interactions, especially in large groups or high-stimulation settings, can be draining for introverts. Talking about a deep passion takes a kind of emotional bandwidth they might not have in that moment. There's also the fear of judgment. Many introverts grow up feeling different in a world that often rewards being loud, fast, and outgoing. So if their interests are a little offbeat, like journaling, birdwatching, or studying ancient mythology, they might worry that opening up will lead to criticism or confusion. But here's something beautiful. When introverts do find a safe space, whether it's with a close friend, a supportive community, or even in the quiet of their own journal, they absolutely bloom. Their passions come alive in the details, in the way they light up when they talk about something they love, in the depth of thought they bring to even the smallest interest. You just have to meet them where they are. Let's talk about something introverts are secretly amazing at, something they do without even trying, but that brings them so much quiet joy. Observation. While the world rushes by chasing after the next big moment, introverts are often the ones standing still, paying attention to the little things most people miss. It's not just that they notice more, it's that they feel more deeply what they see. A shift in someone's body language, the way the sunlight filters through a curtain at 4 p.m., a soft sigh during a conversation. These things don't just pass through unnoticed, they land. They mean something. Susan Cain, author of Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, describes introverts as having a heightened sensitivity to their environment. Their senses are tuned to a slightly different frequency, one that picks up on nuance, energy, and subtle beauty. And for many introverts, that sensitivity isn't a burden, it's a gift. Even something as simple as people watching in a cafe or noticing the way autumn leaves fall in patterns can be a deep source of joy. For an introvert, observing the world isn't passive, it's intimate. It's how they engage, how they learn, how they process. And that witnessing, it gives them insights others might never see. The next time you see someone sitting alone, not scrolling, not fidgeting, just watching, don't assume they're lonely. They might be in their element. Now let's move to something introverts often crave more than anything: meaningful one-on-one interactions. Small talk in a big group can be exhausting. The noise, the interruptions, the surface-level chatter. For many introverts, it's like running a marathon with no finish line. But one-on-one conversations? That's where they come alive. That's where the connection feels real. It's not that introverts don't like people. In fact, they often love meaningful connection more than anything. But they thrive in depth, not in volume. In quiet understanding, not in constant stimulation. Picture a long walk with a close friend. A quiet dinner where nothing feels rushed. A late-night talk that gently unpacks things no one else knows. These aren't just moments, they're lifelines. Sophia Dembling, author of The Introvert's Way, explains that introverts seek depth over breadth in relationships. They build slowly, but their roots run deep. And it's in those quiet, one-on-one spaces where they feel safe enough to show their truest selves. So if you love an introvert, give them time. Don't rush them into the spotlight. Just sit with them. Be with them. That's when the magic happens. Have you ever gotten so lost in a book, a deep thought, or a podcast that the world seemed to disappear? That spark, that joy of thinking deeply, that's another quiet passion of introverts. Intellectual stimulation. This isn't about being academic or book smart. It's about the love of learning, exploring, questioning. Introverts often recharge by going inward, following a thought all the way to the end, reading for hours, writing out what they're processing. They don't just want to talk, they want to understand. And in a world that values fast answers, their ability to sit with complexity is powerful. Studies show that introverts tend to have more brain activity in areas related to deep thinking and memory. They're wired for introspection. So when they spend hours journaling, researching, or reflecting, it's not escapism. It's how they stay emotionally grounded. The next time you see someone sitting quietly with a notebook or completely absorbed in a podcast, don't assume they're zoning out. They might be doing some of their best inner work. Now let's look at something that might surprise you. Introverts often love planning and organizing. This isn't about being a control freak. It's about feeling safe, clear, and capable. Planning gives introverts the space to process before acting, to think through a situation without being rushed, and that space creates calm. Dr. Marty Olson-Laney, author of The Introvert Advantage, explains that introverts often thrive when they can reflect before making decisions. Whether it's scheduling their week, journaling goals, or even arranging their environment, planning gives them a sense of direction and peace. A Sunday evening spent organizing, a desk arranged just so, a color-coded planner, these things might look simple, but for introverts, they're part of how they manage energy and emotions. And it's not about perfection, it's about feeling centered. So if someone you know needs time to plan, don't pressure them to just wing it. Give them that space. You'll often find that once they feel grounded, they bring incredible focus, clarity, and creativity to the table. So now that we've explored the quiet joys that introverts hold close, the power of observation, the depth of one-on-one conversations, the hunger for intellectual stimulation, and the calm that comes with planning and organizing. There's one final message I want to leave you with. These aren't just preferences. They're needs. And more importantly, they deserve to be respected. In a world that often celebrates loudness, speed, and constant connection, introverts can sometimes feel invisible, or worse, misunderstood. People may assume that if you're quiet, you must be bored. If you're alone, you must be lonely. If you don't speak up, you don't care. But none of that is true. Introverts connect differently. They love differently. They process differently. And when we rush past their rhythm, we miss out on everything they quietly bring to the table. So if you're someone who's struggled with feeling too quiet or too different, let me tell you, there is strength in your silence. There is clarity in your calm. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to change to fit in. You just have to be who you are, because who you are is already enough. If any part of this message resonated with you, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe tell us, which quiet joy do you treasure the most? Or how do you protect your inner peace in a noisy world? In our next video, we're diving deeper into what it really means for introverts to recharge, how to protect your energy without feeling guilty, and how to create boundaries that feel empowering instead of isolating. Until then, take care of your space. It's sacred, and so are you. Thank you for staying until the end of today's video. If you're here, it means you care about your mental health, and that's already a brave step. Life in your 20s, 30s, or 40s can feel overwhelming. Work stress, family pressures, and the constant comparisons of social media. Depression hides behind all of that, making you feel alone. But you are not alone. This channel exists to remind you that your feelings are real and your voice matters. Each week, I'll share tools and honest conversations to help you heal. If today's video spoke to you, please hit like. It helps more people find these messages. Share this video with someone who might need it, and subscribe so you won't miss the next upload.